learning profound life lessons, or growing, or coming to like each other, or overcoming obstacles to succeed in the end. You know, I mean, but the book isn't like that, and life isn't like that. You know, it just isn't. And I feel very strongly about this.
I feel like the timing of that. Is it live or is it? How much of you is there in that character? I don't recognize it. You know, it's funny that thing that Tilda Swinton says about wanting to portal into my brain is something that after Malkovich came out, I used to get every time I met somebody professionally, and even sometimes non-professionally. You know, people would say that exact thing to me, and I'd always say that really stupid thing in response. You know, I was like, "Oh, it's no fun in here." You know? So I mean, that conversation is fairly close to the conversation I had with the real Valerie Thomas, who was based on when I tried to get this job.
And did you, when you got that job, tell Valerie Thomas roughly how you were going to adapt the book, or was that something you?
No, it was like this. I had no
like
idea. I know I was like 4 or 5, maybe 6 months into it when I was so desperately stuck for various reasons that I came upon the idea of including myself, and I didn't tell anybody until I turned in the script. Because I knew that they would say no, and I really had no other way to do this that I could think of. So I just thought, okay, well, you know, just do it and be done with it, and deal with it later.
And how much of that? I mean, it sounded very like you, and that kind of high-minded intolerance of doing it in a Hollywood way.
Well, you know what it is, and you know what I came up against. Ultimately, I really like this book, which really doesn't have any story. It's just interesting about orchids. I learned a lot about orchids, and somehow it was very melancholy and moving. And there's no story. And you know, there was talk about having these two characters kind of have a love affair, and I didn't want to do that. And what was cut out of the movie, the first thing that Nick Cage says when she says that thing, is, but that didn't happen. You know, and for some reason it's cut. I didn't realize it was, but actually his response makes a little more sense if that would be in there. But it just doesn't seem so rambling. It's like saying, no, you know, they didn't. And so what I came up against when I couldn't figure out how to do this was I didn't want to make up lies about these real people. I felt really uncomfortable even writing lines of dialogue for them that weren't in the book. And there wasn't much dialogue in the book, you know? And so I think the initial idea of putting myself in was basically a way to say, okay, I'm lying, you know? You'll see the process, you'll see that some of this is being made up by a screenwriter. And that gave me freedom to make it as outrageous as I wanted to without being harmful to other people, you know? At least that's how I saw it.
Did it also give you, and by creating the kind of your hack twin brother, did that give you the license to then do all the things with the story that you initially told Valerie?
Yeah, but that's